What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now.
Jimothy.
Now, ladies and gents, I am bringing you a duel that I had with one of my friends on EDO Pro, where we're playing Shaddolls versus Cyber Dragon, Gizmek, Appliancers, or some crazy mishmash of a deck that he's put together, which works pretty well, might I add. Now, the reason why I wanted to show you this duel, ladies and gents, is because of this card right here, Witchcrafter Golem Aruru. Yes, ladies and gents, this is a nice little tech that I've decided to slide into my Shaddoll deck, which I'll probably do another profile on soon if Hobby League starts back up. Now, the reason why I put this in is because our Shaddoll Winder is actually a spellcaster. Yes, it is, ladies and gents. So that means Golem Aruru is live once you get Shaddoll Winder on the board, which is probably what you're going to see in a moment. So just going through here, going through some regular plays. Basically a normal summon Math Man to dump the Trick Clown. I was thinking about going into the Crush Sheep, but then I had a bit of a realization. I was like, hang on, I've got a Shaddoll Fusion, which is a quick play fusion, and I've also got Witchcrafter Golem Aruru. So what I decided to do was go into Construct on my opponent's turn. I dumped Wendy to get a special summon from deck, and then set my Shaddoll Fusion. Now obviously Shaddoll Fusion is live, so you can obviously fuse with face down cards. They do not have to be face up, which is one of the nice things about fusion summoning, providing you've got the spell for it. So my opponent, well, Tinkler, decides to do a few plays, pitches Cyber Dragon to the graveyard, then gets it back with Naxstar. He's locked into machines now, but it doesn't matter because most of his deck is machines. He decides to pop one of my cards. In that case, I chained my Shaddoll Fusion into my Shaddoll Construct because I had Trick Clown as a light, and obviously I had a Shaddoll Dragon as a dark. So going on with the plays, Trick Clown's going to bring himself back just to insulate my Shaddoll Construct, because I wasn't too sure if he had any hand traps in his hand. Obviously looking at his hand now, he's got Machine Dupe and another Hurts, which is not too bad, and he hasn't normal summoned yet, so he's got the potential to pop off basically. But you should see the power of Witchcrafter Golem Aruru. It's a very, very annoying card to say the least. So I decided to dump Shaddoll Incarnation. Now my idea was I really wanted to dump Schism because I would have got Schism back and been able to continue to fuse on my opponent's turn. But I thought to myself, once my construct dies, I'll get Shaddoll Fusion back and I'll leave Shaddoll Incarnation in the graveyard. I can always reborn my dragon back to the field with Monster Reborn and fuse with my plays that way, being able to just continually loot my resources. But it didn't actually play out like that, ladies and gents. So he decides to Machine Dupe, which is a bit crazy after all that is already done. His board is full, not playing around the Biru, gives 0 Fs. So at this point, ladies and gents, he decides to activate Cyber Dragon's Infinity to target my face-up Shaddoll Construct. Now, because I've got Shaddoll Incarnation engraved, I can actually banish this card and another Shaddoll monster from my graveyard to flip my Shaddoll Construct face down. Now, this is basically a bait because I already know that he's going to be able to, he's going to try and take my Winder, and then something's going to attack into Trick Clown or Math Man, and they're both spellcasters, which basically triggers my Golem Aruru. So he takes the bait. He decides to negate that with Cyber Dragon Infinity, which is the main issue on the board at the moment. So he goes for Gizmek, tries to go in for some damage, and at this point, this is where I summon Golem Aruru, bounce his Cyber Dragon Infinity back to the extra deck, netting me my Shaddoll Construct and adding me my Shaddoll Fusion back to hand. He also decides to beat over my Math Man, which gives me a draw also, which is interesting. So Math Man gives me a draw, and I'm in pretty good shape. I've got 2 Shaddolls in hand, and I've got Shaddoll Fusion as well as a Monster Reborn. Now I think I hold the Monster Reborn mainly because I didn't want to overextend, so I play the Fusion. Obviously I'm going to go into Shaddoll Wendy, and in a simplified game state, ladies and gents, she is a very big problem. Very, very big problem. So once she hits the board, each person can only special summon once, and she can't be destroyed by card effects, which is something to note here because he does try a couple of times to pop Winder, but Winder can't be outed by card effects. And obviously you got Witchcrafter Golem Aruru on board. He decided to clear his field, leaving his Naxstar on board. He summons the Gizmek back on his end phase. So then standby phase, Aruru bounces back to hand. Now look, he decides to target again my Shaddoll Winder. Now that was a bit of a misplay on his part, because if you've read Winder, you'll know that she can't be destroyed by card effects. And soon as you target one of my spellcaster monsters, you know exactly what's going to happen, ladies and gents. Witchcrafter Golem Aruru jumps back out the hand, bounces his Gizmek back to hand. Shaddoll Winder survives. He Chimera Tech Fortress, which just basically beats over my Wendy, which is not a problem. I draw Gamma for turn, so I'm feeling kind of confident. Bring back the Construct, which gets me a dump for a Shaddoll Fusion, just in case he manages to out my board for it with just basically with anything. So beat over his Chimera Tech Fortress, and then he decides to Gizmek Orochi again in the end phase. So I bounce my Aruru back to hand, and then guess what's going to happen right here, ladies and gents? He special summons once, decides to pop my Winder once more. Again, he should have checked the card. Because he's targeted my spellcaster, guess what jumps back out the hand? Golem Aruru, bouncing his Orochi back to hand. Winder survives, and then he crashes for just game basically. So ladies and gents, just an interesting tech. It's something that I'm going to mess around with and just see if there's any more applications. Obviously with the new Magister stuff and just the whole spellcasters at the moment, they're looking pretty interesting, especially with some of the cards in the Witchcrafters. I'm looking at making a bit of a hybrid build between the Magisters and the Witchcrafters, but definitely stay tuned to the channel for that. Well, ladies and gents, we find ourselves at the end of another video. If you did enjoy this content, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I will definitely see you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.